Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you're all doing fairly well. I imagine it's evening. Last time we did this a few hours ago, it was kind of early in the morning for me, but I imagine, depending on where you are, it's going to change things. Today, we've changed things around. We're going to be doing another nice little bush flight here. This time, we are in Lesotho, which is a country-locked country. Basically, it's in South Africa. It's going to be quite an adventure for us because we're going to need aircraft that can tolerate this really, really thin air that you're going to be seeing up here. So first things first, we'll go ahead and think about where we're going to be going. We're going to be taking off from here and proceeding in a northwest direction. We're going to create basically a fake scenario and go ahead and land some of the villages along the way as we kind of see them come up. The one thing you want to watch out for is we are using no wind here today to make things a little bit safer for us. If we did have a wind, it could have a big impact. And the second thing I'm going to say is anybody who chooses to join us here, we're on all players right now. Of course, by the way, watch out for these rocks on takeoff. They're a lot more solid than they look, and I had a pretty bad accident with one of these a little earlier. But again, feel free to join us at any particular time on the ECUSA server. All right, let's get this row in a show. So first things first, this is a Savage. This is basically the X-Cub. This is the same engine that you can find in a Cessna 172. It's tremendously powerful for its size, but it's also quite a bit heavier than what we were flying earlier today. We're going to need that extra horsepower in order to help us climb over these mountains. So first things first, we're going to flip on the master here. It's going to ding and get angry at us. Alternator gets turned on. We have our two ignition switches. We want to make sure both of those are set to the on position. We're going to flip on the fuel pump, especially on this one. Somebody's asked me to wait, so I'll just talk a little bit slower. Next thing you know we want to do is we want to come over here and turn on the strobe light. Strobe light is going to be a combination of lights. It's going to be the little light on the back of the tail, and it's also going to be a light underneath us as well. Next things, we're holding. I'll go slow. I'll go slow. Oh, I'm just going to... that's how I spell that. FXME. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm on steady mode. If you turn on pulse, by the way, you can actually make your landing lights flash, which I think is kind of a neat trick. Flight plan today, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a teeny tiny bit so you can see it. It's basically going to take us right around these sketchy mountains. We're actually going to go direct. There's a much, much safer valley directly to the east of us that we're going to use to get some altitude. And then we're going to pop back down here and kind of head into this particular zone. Go ahead and center that sucker out. I'm actually going to disable it because I don't need it. Next thing you know we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure our fuel is turned down right here. You can see this is set to the off position. We actually want to make sure it's left or right. I'm kind of a fan of the left tank. Taking a look at what time it is, it's going to be about, left tank's going to be fine for today. Next thing you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the starter key, and you just sit here and crank it, and put your hand on the throttle, and get us up to about 1,000 RPM. Whoa! Not the 50th time it's died on me, but that's all right. Oh, we got a leaner mixture. Leaner mixture. We got it. Nice. So keep an eye out on your mixtures for this flight, folks. You can't use a fuel mixture or your engine will stall and cut out on you. So kind of keep that in mind. This is going to be an interesting little adventure for us. All right, everything looks good there. Everything's looking good basically above my head. Checking to make sure I got fuel on this thing. I got plenty. I'm using that fuel tank. Let's see what we got as far as the turnout goes today. Actually got to turn things down a little bit here. Going to look to my left and my right. We got somebody. I love the pink plane. And everything is looking pretty darn good so far. Again, we're going to be taking off here. We're going to be taking this little valley and just gaining as much altitude as we possibly can. And then we're going to do some kind of sketchy landing exercises on the far side of things. All right, let's go ahead and flip on my pulse. So this is going to make my landing lights flash. Snap on my landing lights. Of course, like I always complain, you don't normally want to turn these things on like this when you're first doing it. But check it out. I actually have a left working blinker on this airplane. All right, go ahead and stick my head up. Going to release the parking brake. Give it a little bit of gas here. Now, again, make sure you set your air-fuel mixture correctly before you try to take off. If you do not, you're going to find that this really, really thin altitude of 7,500 feet is going to take quite a toll on the performance of your airplane. So I'm just going to kind of bounce around here. Do a nice gentle turn. We probably could have gotten away with one of the Rotax-powered aircraft. The only reason I chose not to do that today is because, like I said, I need the extra horsepower to kind of help us out on these mountains. All right, looking pretty good, looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and zero out real quick. Give everybody a moment behind me to kind of take a look, make sure everybody's in good shape. Again, make sure your air-fuel mixture is in good shape. If you need to check that manually, safest way to do it is to go ahead and hold down your brakes. Give yourself a little bit of power. Usually between 1,500 RPM is more than enough. I'll set it right there. Looks pretty good, about 1,800. Again, I'm holding the brakes down. And go ahead and pull your mixture out and watch your RPM and your exhaust gas temperature. If you see your RPM coming up, that means you're you're getting closer to the right mixture. If you see it going down, you've gone too far. So I'm actually going to enrich it just a teeny tiny bit, and it's going to be right about there. Delightful. All right, we're going to go ahead and put in a single notch of flaps here, because if we do 2 notches of flaps, it's going to be a little bit too much, and that extra drag is going to absolutely kill us here. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go off this cliff, which is super exciting, and I know this is going to sound weird, but we're actually going to go ahead and circle the airport once to let everybody get caught up to us, and then we'll come swinging around and start heading up towards our destination. All right, let's do it to it. Oh man, I'm only getting 22 inches of manifold pressure here. Yikes. All right, off we go once again for our second flight for today. Welcome back, all those who joined you. Watch out for the rocks. All right, we're just going to keep it nice and steady, nice and steady. A little bit of right foot here, we should be fine. All right, going to give it a nice little tug. And I love this takeoff. Whoop, right off a cliff. That's awesome. All right, give it just a moment to kind of build up a little bit of power here. This is, we're suffering. This is pretty high altitude for us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start my gentle circle here, and so let folks catch up. Lots and lots and lots of nose up trim here. All right, looking good so far. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do one circle, let everybody get kind of caught up, and then we'll start making our way over this mountain range over here. This is amazing, as always. We can actually work our way. This is a beautiful set of waterfalls, by the way. You can actually dig this up in the real world in case you want to kind of track some of this stuff down. Again, I'm going to do my circle real fast before we proceed on our journey. This is going to be, again, bush flying, so we're going to be doing a lot of work off the actual runways. But again, that just makes things more fun for us. You can see here that they had to make the absolute best of it in Lesotho here. Basically, all the farming is just like it is in Vietnam, where it's all terrace farming, because it's the only way on Earth you're ever going to have enough room to actually be able to safely grow anything. Which, again, it's incredible when you really think about it. All right, look at the size of that valley. I feel sorry for this TBM. I really hope he didn't try to fly right into that mountain. You're going to run out of room real fast if you do something like that. Starting to lose a little bit of our climb rate here. We need to get up to about 9,500 feet here in order to safely get over the range. And then we're going to start making our way directly towards the northwest, where, like I said, we'll find a couple of dangerous places to land the plane. This will be a lot safer than what we did in the Congo earlier. All right, looking pretty good. Time to start heading on out. This aircraft, if you think of it like a Cessna 172 with a conventional landing gear, you're probably thinking correctly. Your speeds are going to be virtually exactly the same. By the way, as you're climbing, absolutely make sure, pretty pleased with the cherry on top, that you're constantly adjusting your mixture all the way up. Otherwise, the engine will not run as smoothly. It's really critical that you set that up properly during our flight today. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. Oh my gosh, look at that. See, is there anybody I recognize from this morning? I don't see anybody, but that's okay. Teutonic fall instead of Teutonic fail. That's clever. All right, let's get a little bit of altitude and start making our way to the destination. So we're going to have to go ahead and basically punch our way through this valley, and right on the other side of it is going to be this really, really tall mountain. What we're going to have to do is once we get to that mountain is we're going to have to lose a lot of altitude to go ahead and find ourselves in our first little village that we're going to be landing at today. So again, 9,500 feet is going to be, oh, this is so beautiful. I love this. This is so cool. This is, like I said, about 9,500 feet is going to be more than enough for us today. And once I do get up to that altitude, I'll start setting my engine up. Like I said, you're going to be constantly fixing with the mixture this entire climb today. Get a little bit more altitude here. Things are looking pretty darn good. There we go. This is the world's best worst trim. There we are, 9,500 feet. Go ahead and nose over nice and gently. Come down just a teeny tiny bit. I'm going to go ahead and flip on the automatic pilot just to make my life a little bit easier. Oops. Helps if you turn on the avionics master. Come on, man, you're supposed to tell me that. Altitude hold mode on, looks pretty good. I'll actually flip on nav mode for just a moment. And again, we're just trying to stabilize the aircraft, and I'm going to start setting the engine up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reduce our RPM down to 2,500. Again, the nice thing about a constant speed prop is we get the ability to actually adjust this. And now we're able to get quite a bit more horsepower than we would if we had a fixed pitch. Go ahead and drop that about as close as I can. I feel like I'm never going to get it close enough, I think. Next thing you know, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the mixture a little bit. I'm going to pop it out a little bit. Check my exhaust gas temperature. It's less than 1,500. Manifold pressure, I can't even touch it because we're already not producing enough power as it is. All right, everything's looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and pause for a second and let everybody get kind of caught up to me. Oops, somebody passed me. Sorry about that, buddy. It's kind of nice. I could just sort of freeze. All right, back to what we were doing. All right, we're getting about 100 knots indicated, but it's working out to be about 117 true, which doesn't surprise me. And ground speed's actually pretty good also, so I'm not complaining. Not complaining. Okay, so basically we're going to get into this very, very large valley, which is we're going to be hitting in just a minute. And now we're going to work our way kind of gently down it. There's going to be a river to our right, and that river is going to be our reference point so that we can basically line ourselves up with where we're going to be landing first today. Again, earlier on today we were in the jungle. Today we are basically in the hills. An interesting fact for those of you who don't need to know any more trivia than you already know, too bad. This particular country has the highest average altitude as far as there's no sea level here. Everything's at least 1,000 meters up. It's absolutely wild if you think about that possibility. All right, we got a pretty good collection of folks behind us. Now, of course, we're going to see how things go when we do our initial landing here. I usually don't like to use third-person view, but this countryside is just so gorgeous. I love how your flaps lever is just a handle that you're accidentally going to hit with your hand a couple times. Look at that mountaintop. It's just, oh man, this is wild. One of the neat pictures I actually saw when I was doing some research with this flight is they had a whole area where the whole place had turned to snow, which was absolutely beautiful. All right, take a look around. Looks pretty good. Checking behind me. This thing really needs a rear view mirror. All right, everybody ready for our first destination. We're going to be crossing over this ridge. As I mentioned in my mountain flying video, when you do cross ridges, you generally want to do them at a 45-degree angle if the wind speed is greater than 30 knots, just in case there's some kind of updraft. But in this particular case, we've disabled wind, so I'm not that worried about it. All right, we're going to pop right over this tight valley here. And we're going to be looking for the river. I think you can't miss it if I recall correctly. Let's go ahead and check the folks behind me real fast. They're looking good. Oh boy, somebody's into TBM. I feel sorry for that guy. Somebody's asking real quickly how you change servers. It's pretty easy. You just hit escape, click right here, and you can just set whatever server that you need right here. All right, there's the valley. Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and take the automatic pilot off. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my power and leave my propeller lever at the same position it was moments ago. Because one thing we want to watch out for is that we don't want to over-rev the engine while we're diving here. This, of course, would be tremendously uncomfortable for us because we're descending at about 1,600 feet per minute, but we do need to lose a little bit of altitude if we're going to be landing at our first spot. Speaking of our first spot, let's see what we can see as far as good landing locations goes. I'm noticing some really, really good farms over here down on the right. Like that one looks actually, this is actually pretty sweet. This kind of little curve right here. It looks like it's got a bit of the banana thing going on, which is kind of my exaggerated U shape here. So that's definitely going to be a possibility. Looking over here on the right, let me slip a little bit. We could probably get in here, probably land right around here. My only concern here is being able to get out of the way of that mountain. Again, if we were delivering supplies in the real world, we want to try to get as close to the village as we possibly can when we drop stuff off. So to be honest, I think we're going to take our chances with the banana. So when we're landing in a bush situation, you basically need to make sure that you're going to have enough room to take off as well as enough room to land. Kind of a common mistake I've seen people make is they come up with this beautiful place to land, can't escape from it. One of my favorite spots usually is landing down here along like a riverbed or something like that, but taking a quick look, I'm really not seeing a terribly safe spot in which to do so. So the poor folks at this village, we're going to be able to serve them pretty easily. The folks over on this side, they're going to have to cross the river. And unfortunately, I don't see any rope bridges or anything like that, so we're not going to worry about it. So we're going to go ahead and check this runway out to see if it's a safe spot. I'm liking this, again, this banana looks pretty good, but I'm almost liking the top of this crust just a little bit better. Again, in the real world, you got to watch out for things like houses, you got to watch out for things like trees, rocks. I'm not too concerned, but I think we're going to go ahead and do our line right there. Taking a look. Pilot B was asking why they can't see anybody. One thing I recommend doing if that does come up to you, you can always go ahead and go to a different server, count like a minute, and then come back to our server, and you should be a little bit more successful. Okay, let's get ready for our first landing. So first things first, we need to confirm that we have enough room to land. Now this aircraft, on a good day, you can land it in about 900 feet. So the good news is if you're doing 120 knots, it takes 4.5 seconds to cover 900 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to set ourselves up with the runway we're going to land at and basically travel along it and count how long we can go along it until we actually hit the point where we think we've hit 4.5 seconds and we still have runway to spare. But because of the altitude, you're going to have to add a little bit to that as well. All right, I'm just going to kind of spin around real quick. I'm going to take a look around. Let's see here. I'm liking that right there. I think that's probably my favorite spot. Right in there. See where you can see the little road? Just sort of inspecting it. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves around. We're doing 82 knots, 60 knots. We'd have to count out. It's going to be about 7 seconds or so. All right, it's looking pretty good. And it's uphill also, which is dangerous for us. All right, here we go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi. Yeah, we got plenty of run here. All right, let's set ourselves up for a landing. Now what we're going to do is go swing back around, put down the flaps, and basically stick this thing right down on the ground. All right, go ahead and flip on my landing lights so everybody can see what I'm about to do. Might as well flip on my nav lights too to be a little bit more visible. Look out my window. Go ahead and pop that first notch of flaps down. I'm getting bounced around a little bit here, but this should be a pretty fun place. All right, villagers, we're coming to come help you out here. We've got all sorts of good supplies. Sam is the first one down, which is pretty cool. Again, I'm just going to fly myself a pretty standard traffic pattern. You don't have to do anything unique here. But what you do want to do, and this was true from earlier, is you've got to keep good control of your speed. You know, if your stall speed is 55, you need to be doing 56 the whole way down. I'm going to go ahead and put that last couple notches of flaps in. I really want to start slowing down as I can loop around. All right, let's do my landing checklist. We need gumfles. So gumfles means we're going to be on the other fuel tank. All right, here we go. 55 knots. That is basically a minimum speed for us. All right, here we go. This one's going to be pretty easy. All right, we're going to be aiming right for that little channel. See that nice little spot right there? Yeah, we got this. Whenever you're landing, of course, always, if you can land into the wind. If not, please land uphill. When you're taking off, always take off downhill or into the wind, whatever works best for you. Oh, man, this thing's got some serious horsepower. All right, here we go. All right, this is going to be a vacation. Keep an eye on your speed. That's a great saying. All right, I don't like that bump. I'm going to hold the nose up, hold the power back just a teeny tiny bit. Nose up. I'm going to go ahead and kill the flaps immediately because I want to go ahead and give as much braking power as I can, but not too much, otherwise you're going to do a face plant. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, we've hit our first destination. And for some reason, everybody disappeared on me. Let me double check to make sure nothing bad happened here. No, everything looks good on my end, so I'm not too worried about it. Maybe a bit will reappear in a second. Double check to make sure I didn't lose online services. Nope, we're good. All right, let's go ahead and take off and continue on our little flight here. Got to take a look around. So again, like I was saying, you don't want to take off uphill if you can help it. You always want to take off downhill. We'll assume we've gone ahead and dropped off our handy-dandy supplies here. We're going to do ourselves a pretty standard takeoff since we have plenty of room. I'm going to go ahead and bring in 1 notch of flaps. I'm not going to need any more than that. And now we are ready to go. No sudden maneuvers on the brakes because you will face plant so fast you won't even know it hit you. Easy. All right, let's do it to it. Don't forget to set your mixtures. And notice the plane wants to take off right away, but we're not actually ready to take off. Don't just get airborne. If you can, stay in ground effect for a few moments. Okay, that was a little bumpy, but we are up. Nice. Woohoo! That was a lot more dangerous than I was hoping it would be. But we're on our way once again, and things are looking pretty good for us. All right, let's start heading out towards our next stop. Whoop, people are starting to reappear again, so I'm not too concerned. I don't know what that was all about, but sometimes that happens. All right, kind of swing over this way. And we'll find ourselves a nice safe spot. The next location where we need to drop some supplies off today is going to be this neat little bend in the river. It's going to be a little squiggly and it's going to have a nice little uphill landing for us. I'm going to go ahead and reset my mixture. Everything's looking pretty good. We don't need too much altitude here. We need just enough to kind of get us out of trouble. All right, looking pretty good. You get a really good look at the terrain here. We're going to be landing right in here this time. All right, zoom in just a teeny tiny bit. All right, bring the nose up, and there's our spot right there. This one's going to be the exact same procedure. I'm just kind of measuring it with my eyes real quick. The buildings are that big. Those buildings are about 50 feet. If you do 50 into the size of that, you're talking about 2,300 feet. That is going to be plenty of land in order for us to go ahead and set down. So just like before, I'm going to go double check it to make sure that I have enough room to set myself down safely before coming back around and landing on this one. Again, normally in the real world, what we would do is we'd fly basically 50 feet off the ground, scan the ground for any sort of obstacles or trees or rocks or anything along those lines. That's going to give us a nasty surprise during a little landing. But again, I'm not seeing too much of that right now on my initial inspection. Keep in mind, we're going uphill, which means if our power isn't in, we could find ourselves stalling into the side of the mountain, which would be bad news for everybody. Well, it's looking pretty good. I bet you we could put it right next to where that farmhouse is. All right, let's go ahead and swing around and set up for landing. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that is a miniature airstrip. Not actually sure what... Ah, it's a road. I see it now. Okay, let's bring ourselves back around. Lift up the nose just a little bit. Don't need to be going too fast here. All right, we're going to be landing right there where I was just poking just a moment ago. All right, go ahead and bring that first notch of flaps in one more time. Take a look out the window. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Again, in the real world, I wouldn't recommend landing on those terraced farms. It's going to be a bit bumpy, to say the least. And unfortunately, we don't have the big, scary tires on this thing, so I can't work on that too much. But that looks pretty good. I'm going to bring my next notch of flaps down, bring the nose up a teeny tiny bit. Let's go ahead and get ready for landing. We need gunfuls, gas, undercarriage, mixture, propeller, flaps, light, speed, and we are all set. Bring in that last notch of flaps. And we're going to go ahead and swing down here just like this and set this thing down nice and gently on the ground. It's basically off-roading. Little bit of a rudder there to kind of control our speed. Gonna put that nose right into the ground. Get ready to abort at any moment, just in case something comes up that looks a little sketchy. I'm actually going to slip the plane to lose that last bit of speed. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and put ourselves right up next to that farmhouse so we don't have to walk. All right, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And I hate it when I can't find the right key. All right. Ooh, looks like we got a little bit of a downhill here, but that's all right. Ooh, that could have been a little bit softer. All right. And what did I say? All right, let's go ahead and bring ourselves right up around here. Just like I promised. All right, we're here to drop off some supplies. I hope you folks are, we're not late or anything like that. I was told to be here at this time, and here I am, and here's your stuff. Hopefully you folks have a lovely day. Don't mind all the other aircraft following me. They do that from time to time. All right, we go spin ourselves around here. Again, easy on the brakes. You don't want to do anything that's going to get you murdified. Okay. So we have one more stop along our route, and then we have a neat little zone where we're going to try to follow this nasty bit of the river here. I'm going to wait till some folks can go ahead and catch up with us. We'll kind of make some quiet judgments of everybody as they come in. Nicely done, Dave. Yeah, I bet you found the same banana that I did. That kind of scared me pretty good there. Just kind of parked, relaxing a little bit, looking pretty good. A Diamond 62 would be the... Oh, ouch. You got to watch out for that uphill. Let's see, Tectonic Fall number 7. Ooh, I cannot believe you took that plane. Oh, and now you understand why I said you could not take that plane on this flight. He's just going for it. He's going for it. It's all good. Nobody's in a 208. Okay, good. All right. Our supplies are nice and unloaded. Let's get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a single notch of flaps. I'm going to make sure my mixture is set correctly. I'm also going to confirm we got a Walnut Hornet coming in here. Nice. Remember, no aggressive braking with a tail dragger on a hill. That's how you flip. I'm going to smoothly apply full power. And we are on our way again. Now, I love going downhill, but again, don't let the plane fly until it's ready to fly. Otherwise, you're going to pancake. Downhill just a little bit, and you're just going to give it the world's teeny tiniest tug. And we are on our way once again. Okay, these are much easier places to land than we had before. Go ahead and take a nice gentle left-hand turn here, and we're going to go proceed on our course. Going to be a little bit of a flight in order to get to our next location. We're basically going to stick to this river, and there's this really crazy mountain road that we're basically going to kind of track down and go ahead and journey along. All right, on our way up, I'm going to make sure everything's set correctly. We don't need landing lights anymore. I think we've done a nice job of landing. Let's see how everybody else is doing. We got a couple people behind me, and we're on our way. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right. Swing back the other way. I haven't actually checked the map in a while. Oh, right on. All right. Nice gentle turn. And that's about all we needed to do. We only need about 7,500 feet for the next component, so I'm just going to do a nice gentle climb on my way out. Generally, when you do these things called cruise climbs, you could actually reduce the RPM a little bit in order to preserve that engine. But I'm not worried about it because I'm not paying for the engine right now, so it's not my concern. Don't forget to constantly be adjusting a mixture, basically the whole flight. Keep an eye on your exhaust gas temperature. It's usually a pretty safe bet. Again, you can come over here. If you pull it too hard, obviously exhaust gas temperature goes the wrong way. Although, honestly, that got higher, which means I actually made my engine more efficient. Interesting. I wonder how accurately that is actually modeled. All right, let's go come swinging around this way. And that's looking pretty good so far. I expect this time to bump into my next destination. We're probably about, my watch is accurate, probably about 2 minutes away. Go ahead and check behind us. How you doing, buddies? How you doing? How you doing? Nice. All right, let's proceed. Jack asked if I tried it in VR. I actually have a movie on Monday that's coming out that is me flying in VR in a stunt show. It's kind of fun. Nice. All right, here we go. Time to find our next destination. I'm going to go ahead and nose over real quickly. All right, going to go ahead and reduce power. I'm going to go ahead and pop the automatic pilot on real quick. It's just a handy-dandy way of kind of getting things under control. Flight director's already on. Where are you going? Apparently it insists. 7,200 feet. Got it. Whoa. Okay, so our next destination is going to be this little teeny tiny village that we have located right up here on the opposite side of this ridge. So if you take a look really, really carefully, you can see this really, really nice flat spot right here. And on the opposite side, there's actually another really, really nice flat spot here. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to buzz this ridge around this corner and then come in for a nice little landing. Again, we'd always want to land into the wind. If not, we can always land into the side of the mountain here. We'll go ahead and reduce power. And let's go ahead and start bringing ourselves down. Man, this terrain is absolutely gorgeous. Just usually places you never think about flying kind of a thing. I love it, every bit of it. Okay, so this one's going to be a little sketchy. I'm actually going to kind of come over this way. I'm picking up quite a bit of speed here because we're doing a little descent. Go ahead and swing around this way. You can say hello to all the people in their little villages. And I'm going to do a fake little pass on it, just again to confirm everything looks okay. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my power. Again, 60 knots gets you 100 feet per second. 100 feet per second, which means if it takes us 10 seconds, that's going to be 10,000 feet. So that actually works really, really well as far as estimating distances here. All right, let's get ourselves nice and set up here. And it's looking pretty good so far. I don't see anything that would concern me yet. But again, we want to inspect it very, very carefully, both in the real world as well as in the real plane, or the virtual plane, I should say. That's looking okay. All right, let's get ourselves down to about 60 knots and measure off how much distance we got here. And 60 knots is going to be right about there. All right, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10. Yeah, it's going to be about 1,000 feet. So we're not really going to have a lot of leeway here if things don't go well. And you can actually take a look right there and you can see a very distinctive little path that like some ATV or another car made. So obviously people have been up here, so it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. All right, come swinging around this way. Feeling pretty good, Go ahead and take a look around. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and drop that notch of flaps, lift the nose up, and prepare for landing. All right, gumfuls, gas undercarriage, mixture, propel flaps, light speed. All right, looks good. Looking pretty good here. I'm gonna go ahead and flip on my landing lights. Bring us around, go ahead and put that second notch of flaps in. We're going to be a very short distance here, so we want to be very, very cautious. And again, secret there is you just got to be careful where you land. All right, looking pretty good. You can see a little ridge line where the little road is. We're going to try not to land on it sideways, because if we land on it sideways, it's almost going to be worse as if we try to land it on it downhill. Of course, the moment we hit the brakes, it's going to be crunch. All right, bring in the rest of those flaps. All right, let's do it. Nicely done, Dusty. All right. I don't like that. That's a little better. Okay. Go ahead and slip a little bit. Try to land on the back wheel first here. Ooh, that was rough. Yeah, that should have been go around. That was dangerous. Ooh, that was dangerous. I should have landed right to my right. See how much flatter this is? Ugh. Oh, my back. Oh, look at this. This is even better. That's what happens sometimes like that. Oh, wow. Dean's going from all the way in New Zealand. I really want to visit New Zealand so badly. I just think it's an amazing country. I mean, it's Middle Earth, and it's just... I've been to Australia years and years and years ago, and that was quite the experience. So I'd love to kind of complete the whole thing. All right, so there's a couple different things we could do here for takeoff. Of course, the safe thing to do would be to go up the hill and turn around and Wright Brothers this sucker. The dangerous thing to do would be to point in that direction and hit the gas. If you do something like that, we're going to go right off the side of a mountain, which is slightly satisfying in its own kind of way. All right. As I was saying before, though, you want to be very easy on the brakes. I'm actually going to engage the park and brake and just kind of sit here for just a moment, let people kind of get all caught up. I really should have landed through here. This is so much nicer. Look at that. You get that really, really good spot. When we take off, I'm going to go kind of bounce down this way and off that side. Going off the cliff is recommended for anybody who has kind of a death wish here. Feel free. I don't necessarily suggest doing it, but it's slightly exciting. I remember in the old days of Flight Simulator 10, I used to take that little ultralight plane and do stupid things like drive it off the side of office buildings because, you know, young. All right, give everybody a moment to kind of get kind of caught up. I see the different people kind of landing here. Careful, careful. Yeah, you got to be really quick on the feet. All right, let's get going. Wait a minute. Kind of let everybody get kind of caught up here. See, the Diamond has the right idea. He's halfway up the hill. Much smarter. What we're really going to do is kind of come in. See, this is super steep. You would wreck the plane if you did that. It's actually going to be safer to kind of come down the ridge this way, even though this is more tempting. All right, let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Check my mixture. Everything's good. This is going to be a lot safer. All right, we're going to use 1 notch of flaps. All right, again, you want to be very gentle here. Don't accidentally fly off the ground until the plane's ready to fly. So I'm just going to kind of hover along the ground here very cautiously. Anticipate it, and we're going to do a hop takeoff. Hop takeoff, as you can see at the last second there, I went ahead and jammed the flaps all the way down after we had already built up all the speed that we need. Okay, looking good. I'm going to go hit the power there. Let everybody get nice and caught up behind me, and then we're going to start heading towards our terminal destination. And it's pretty cool. We could actually dial in a VOR here for those of you who remember all the good IFR stuff we did back in the day. I'll go ahead and do my little circling thing here. Let everybody get nice and caught up. I'm just glad I took this plane out here today because the other planes would have been a little underpowered for this. Like doing this like in a DV20, ugh. Or the TDI, forget it. I'm going to go ahead and do my circle and let everybody get nice and caught up. I think we've delivered to 3 different mountain villages today, and I think we've done quite a service. Of course, I didn't see a village up here. It just seemed like a fun place to kind of land. Go ahead and do my little donut here. Got all sorts of folks coming from that direction. Awesome. Again, just circling to build up a little bit of altitude, and then we're going to cross right back over that ridge line and kind of head our way back out. Yeah, about 7.5, 75 knots. That'll do good. So far, so good. I gotta bring that nose up just a teeny tiny bit. Try to keep it right at 7.5 degrees. And we are just about back on our way one more time. Of course, in the real world, you'd never do something stupid like this. You'd keep circling until you clear of the ridge line by 1,000 feet. Then you'd fly towards the ridge line. But the good news is, in our flight simulator here, we don't have to be concerned with things like, you know, reliability. All right, looking pretty good. I think I'm just gonna start heading myself back out in this direction now. A little bit more upwards trim. Don't forget to adjust your mixture constantly on your way up, because again, you're going to be losing a lot of horsepower otherwise. 5-degree climb should be pretty solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the folks behind me and see how we're all doing. I see that it didn't take you folks any time whatsoever to come join me, as if I was disappointed. I'm not the world's best formation lead here, but that's perfectly fine. Form line. No, form trail. What am I saying? All right, I'll go ahead and swing back over the top. I was really hoping to catch some wildlife on this journey today, but unfortunately I just didn't see any. Fingers crossed for next time, though. I think next time we'll have to do like an Arctic safari. We'll have to do a safari or something like that, see what we can find. Okay, now we are heading into the Great Plateau and Plains of Lesotho here. We're getting towards the northern half of the country here. We're going to be going to Moshoshu International Airport, for those of you guys who are curious. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't, but again, I'm trying. The important thing is we're visiting new places. All right, let's go ahead and get our engines ready for cruise. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my RPM a little bit. I don't need to reduce my power first because my power is already at 22 inches right now, and that's pretty lame. And, oh, come on, 24.99, lame. All right, we're looking good. Let's check out oh my gosh. How you doing, Dustin? Go ahead and level myself off nice and gently here. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to zip along this valley right here and kind of swing back around this way and kind of make our way into the major city. We'll do a nice little pass around the major city and go ahead and line up. Probably be landing on, I believe it is runway 22 if my memory serves me correctly here. This is just so incredible. They did a really, really nice job with this. Look at this. Look at those little trails. So cool. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and look around, make sure everything's looking good. I got some folks directly behind me. See here, I'm just checking my notes real fast. Again, I have them on a different screen so I can kind of double check things. 108.9. Got it. 108.9. 108.9. 108990. Transfer. Oh. Got it. Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and begin our descent down into the capital. I'm actually going to flip my CDI mode real quick. Haha! ILS approach. Adam's mentioning that he got good frame rate on the Oculus Rift. Yeah, I have a Rift S, and the performance has been pretty good, but it totally is dependent on the airplane. Some of the airplanes, like especially like an airliner, forget it. But something like a Cessna 152, it's like butter. All right, start my little descent here. Looking pretty good. I got some folks kind of sneaking up on my right here. Trying to see if there's any last-minute dangerous places to land. Ooh, that looks good. Nose over just a little bit. Don't forget to reduce your power before you nose over. You don't want to accidentally. All right, looking pretty good right there. You can see the airport, by the way, in case you haven't noticed it yet. It's that one. That's looking pretty good. That looks a little dangerous. Let's take it a shot. We'll do one more bonus landing just because we can. We'll save our trip. I mean, we still got time. Look at this, though. This is just, this is incredible. Could you imagine flying a plane through this in the real world? I mean, look at our altitude. We're still at 7,200 feet. Go ahead and press the back button a few times. Clean that out. By the way, at any point, I could bring the map back up. You can see I'm doing a decent job here. Decent job. All right. Yeah. Looks like fun. Let's do it. Of course, I have damage enabled, and I haven't killed this thing yet. So, you know it's going to be the last landing. It's going to be the one that kills me. Yeah, I'm liking that, but it's awfully steep. That nose up just a little bit. Yes, I do have a track IR in case you were curious. The reason I don't use the track IR is because it works okay. To be honest, I'm so darn used to just using my good old head cam here. I kind of got used to it. All right, swing around. Looks good. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do something very naughty here and do a direct landing. In the real world, it looks to me like there's quite a bit of rock there, so if we tried to land this normally, that probably would have been really, really badly for us. Stick my head up nice and high. I'm not liking this very much either. There's quite a few rocks there, but we'll be okay. Come up. Lift up the flaps so we can stick this thing on the ground quicker. It was the first decent landing I've made today. All right, whenever you're working your way downhill, though, don't hold the brakes too much. Do pull back on your controls, though. It's going to ground you a little bit nicer. And that was sweet. Okay, that was a little better. You know you want to fly off this cliff. And again, anybody who wants to do something extremely dangerous today, feel free to fly right off that cliff. Don't say I didn't warn you, though, because it's a bit of a ride. All right, I'm going to make my way kind of around this little set of bushes and kind of come in. There's no mountaintop village up here. This is just a beautiful landmark. Kind of taking a look at the valley here. Got a swiggity swoop up here real gently. And get a nice, beautiful view. That really should be our screenshot right there. Everybody just kind of lines up on the side of a mountain. You'd think we're like in Jeeps or something like that. Yeah, I think I might just make this our shot. I'll give everybody a few moments to get caught up. Of course, we'll go and land at the proper airport and all that stuff in a minute, but is that somebody in a pits? Oh, sir, you are brave. Oh, I like this. Hey, that was the plane I was going to take out today, but I've done that a few times, don't worry. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this nice little beautiful shot here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. This is just sort of a fun place to get everybody's picture. Easy on the brakes, Major Boredom. Easy, easy. Oh, Cessna 152, awesome choice. Yeah. Have a Great Dave is caught up to us quite nicely. We've seen him twice today. It's good to see him one more time. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Stall, stall. I believe he died. All right, I'm going to let everybody get kind of caught up here. And like I said, it's like when you see those commercials for, at least in the United States, for Jeeps. You know, you kind of have everybody like in this like dramatic thing posed at the side of a mountain or something like that. And this is definitely going to be the place to do that. I'll let everybody get caught up, and then we'll go ahead and do our little takeoff. I feel sorry for these two folks because they're actually flying this whole flight correctly, and here we are just being goofballs. It happens. I'm going to try to get both sides of the picture, but I want to get a little bit of the background there. Oh, I just lost somebody. No! Alright. Like this. Like one of these. Alright, everybody. Smile. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this thing down for a successful landing. Go ahead and pop the flaps back in the correct position. Make myself a little bit of power. Don't fly off the cliff. It's tempting, but it's dangerous. All right, 1 notch of flaps. And off we go again. It's going to be one of the few times doing this is actually going to be decently safe. You know, safe is a relative term. In the real world, every landing we made so far, we'd never actually do just because it's too darn dangerous. Looks like we're going to get the flying off the side of the cliff experience here. Whee! Much more fun in VR. All right, let's go ahead and head out. Oh boy, that was a sketch. Oh, somebody flew off the cliff. I told you not to fly off the cliff. It's too steep. The thing will just go stall, 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 all the way down. Flip on my automatic pilot real quick. All right, let's take a look out. Let's see how many people actually survived our takeoff here. Oh, here they come. Here they come. Alrighty, let's head into our international landing and kind of call it a day. Now, after all that incredibly mountainous terrain flying over this part of this country, it's just like, wait, is this the same country? You know, we could be in Syria. Or actually, this reminds me a little tiny bit of Australia. Not quite, though. Alright, let's go ahead and bring ourselves in. We'll do an ILS approach just because we can. Alright, I'm going to go leave my RPM there. I really should have used 2600 RPM for this. That was actually very, very dangerous of me not to set the RPM back. I might have needed that extra 22 horsepower. Alright, looking pretty good. It looks like somebody's coming in for a landing. I feel, again, this is pretty amazing that those folks were able to land these planes here. And go get myself all nice and set up. Looking pretty good. Everybody seems to have reacquired us in formation. Alright, we're going to do an ILS approach because we can. It's going to be a runway 30 here. Actually, I'm sorry, it's a 22. I always get my runways confused. Make sure your localizer mode is set correctly. Double check to make sure you're on the correct frequency. For those of you who missed it a minute ago, our navigation 1 frequency is 108.9er. I've already set that up for me, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fly our pretty typical downwind here. We're going to come spin around. This chap over here has got the right idea. We're just going to come swing around and lane this one down. Matt asks, is there a schedule to my group flights? I definitely do 2 of these. I'm sorry, not do 2 of these. This was a unique occasion because I'm off from work for a week, which is awesome. Basically, I do these every 2 weeks. And generally, depending on the crowd, the European stuff, the Eastern Hemisphere work, I like to say, I usually do at 11 o'clock. And usually the Western Hemisphere, I usually do at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. But again, I usually alternate those 2, and we have a theme. I have a pretty crazy idea for a theme for next time, but again, we'll discuss that once I'm safely down on the ground here. All right, go ahead and pull myself this way a little bit. And again, we're going to fly a downwind for an ILS approach. Why not? All right, looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and push the nose over. I still can't believe I never got up to 25 inches of mercury. We've been up at high altitude this entire day. Go ahead and take a look down at the runway and see if anybody's parked. Oh, the TBM got in. Wonderful. Can't quite make that plane out. If you can, you've got much better eyes than I do. I can see where it should be. We have Roe coming in for a landing. Looking good, looking good. Country, by the way, has about 2 million people, for those of you who are curious how spread out everything is. Check behind me real quick. Looks like everybody's got the... Yeah, see, you know that change in that wallet and that cell phone in your pocket? Guess where it is now? Yeah, it's bouncing around the inside of that canopy, because that's what happens. All right, let's get going. Okie dokie, get ourselves nice and lined up here. Now, again, we're doing a pretty standard downwind. Looks like Dusty just took off here. I'm going to kind of spin around this way, and we're actually going to do a proper 3-point landing and everything along those lines. I know it feels kind of anticlimactic after basically bending this airframe 3 or 4 times after our flight today, but hey, stuff happens. All right, looking pretty good. Again, I'm just going to kind of fly like this. It's so nice when you trim the plane out. You just don't have to worry about it. And that's about 45 degrees is going to be right about here, which is going to be basically what we're trying to achieve here. All right, looking pretty good. All right, let's do it. First notch of flaps is going to come in. You can do that anywhere under 110 in this aircraft. And we are way above the glide slope here, but that's perfectly fine. I'm not really worried about it too much. This is a non-standard instrument approach. It's basically a throwback, if anything. Start backing the throttle out. Make sure I'm on the correct fuel tank here. We'll switch back to, don't shut off the fuel. Switch to the left tank. Go ahead and give yourself a big handful of trim there. And we're basically just going to fly a good old-fashioned ILS style. So we're a little bit of glide slope. We're going to proceed downward just a tiny bit. All right, there's the glide slope. It's coming up. We're going to go ahead and pull up just a teeny tiny bit. Go ahead and start turning in right quick. All right, lift the nose up just a little bit. I'm not sure what that is, but that's pretty scary. All right, I'm right on glide slope. I'm a little off to the left here. I'm going to sharpen up this turn, bring the nose up. Okie dokie. Again, it's just a good old-fashioned landing. Look out the window. This is just kind of fun to do those kind of things. Oh, absolutely. Thanks for joining us again, Dave. All right, gotta go and bring in those notches of flaps. Man, this feels anticlimactic after all this stuff. Go ahead and pop that in one more. Give myself a little bit more power. Looks pretty good here. YouTube's been an interesting experience. That's basically what I'm gonna say. I went from 2,000 viewers up to almost 15,000 in like 4 or 5 months, which is thank you to an autopilot video, I believe. Yeah, we're right on glide slope. We're right on everything. Localizer's fine. Glide slope's fine. We're a little tiny low now. I'm just gonna add a little power in. Make sure my flaps are set correctly. RPM's good. Gumfuls, gas under carriage, mixture propel, flaps, light speed. We are ready to land. It's only appropriate that you do a bunch of hazardous landings and then do a proper instrument landing, but you know how it goes. And there is our spot right there. Everybody's queued up to watch me land. I see how it is. Go ahead and land a little early here. Okay, we're going for the 3-pointer. So that's my 2-pointer. You want to lift the nose up, wait for the beep, and then pull back. There it is. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and shut my landing light off so I don't blind anybody. I feel like I'm redundant, but in the real world, you got to worry about these things. All right, pull off to the side of the road and see how everybody does here. Yes, I know it's not a road. All right, as usual, I always like to take a couple minutes at the end of everything to answer any questions folks should have. Does anybody have either any questions on anything, again, Flight Simulator related, and does anybody have a particular video that you're looking for me to do? Yeah, I actually had everybody vanish on me once too, so that was a little crazy. I just love sitting up here and just kind of watching folks come in. Pretty sure this is a different aircraft model here. I had to go with the red one, by the way, because, you know, red. Of course, if I was actually going to get a custom livery for anything, it would be all silver, and it would have, like, the little Soviet star on it with the red 6.4 kind of on the nose. Uh-oh, Dusty, no! That was like half of my landings today. Oh, thank you. Let's see here. Oh, nose up, nose up. Come on, Tai-Chan, nose up, slow down. Nose up. Okay, a little bumpy. Oh, I missed it. All right, here comes some shredded toast here. Man, we had a wonderful day today. And again, welcome back, everybody. Okay, shredded, you looks like you're going a little fast there. Easy, easy. 3-pointer, 3-pointer. You're going too fast for 2-point. Don't push it. Nope, 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 nope. You're going to bounce. And everybody vanished. See how that is. Let's see if I'll answer some questions. Somebody's asking about multi-engine operations. It's definitely something I could do. I love the Beechcraft G58. It's an amazing airplane, especially in VR. Let's see, any reason I don't use Discord? I don't like to use Discord. I can't really go into it, but it's work-related. Let's see here, some cool scenery. I'm glad that you liked it, Dave. This is Lesotho in Southern Africa. It's just, we don't fly here enough, I think, as an aviation community. There's just so many beautiful places. In upcoming videos, you'll see me doing some crazy things like in southern and eastern Russia. And that's going to be probably someplace you've never seen in an airplane before. Taking a look around here, if anybody else has any other questions, enjoy the IFR. IFR is great stuff. For those of you who've never seen the Navigraph survey, they actually ask people about what kind of airplane stuff they want to see. And one thing's that the most common thing you see is people flying IFR, short-haul airliners. Let's see here if anybody else comes in. Okay, nice. There's a modified version of the G36. That's excellent. I'll definitely have to take a look into that because I do like that airplane. I'm not sure what that is, but that's good. Okay, now, of course, we'll have a little bit of fun here. Since, you know, we can have a little bit of fun with this thing. One thing I did not demonstrate well, and I'll go do it again really, really fast for everybody, is I didn't show you that hop takeoff. I mentioned it. For those of you who were around this morning and checked out my other video, you probably saw me do it. Basically, what a hop takeoff is you're going to leave your flaps up until the last second, and then you're going to slam them on and pull up at the last possible moment to get over an obstacle at the end of the runway. So I'm going to go ahead and hold these brakes out real quickly. I'm going to push the throttle all the way forward. We're going to leave the flaps up. Go ahead and reduce the throttle. A quick tip I'll give you, by the way, is if you push forward on the controls, you can actually get the tail flying before the rest of the plane. So now you can see where you're going. And now what you do is you're going to get up to your acceleration speed, and as soon as you get up to it, it's going to be about 40 knots, double tap the flaps, give it a little tiny tug, and then you're going to get up in the air almost like whoosh, just like that. Keep in mind, though, you're flying on 2 notches of flaps, so you're not going to climb quickly. So you're going to have to let your nose come back down, bring it back up, and that was just something, and more than one times I did it. Dean Bud, thank you so much for that little contribution there. That's the second one I have ever received. Thank you so much, man. I really, really, really appreciate it. It just encourages me to do crazy stuff like that. I cannot wait until we start getting payware airliners, because you'll see a lot of stuff with that. I really do enjoy them. But again, Dean Bud, thanks so much, man. You in AI Cave this morning, that was the most I've ever gotten from this, so thank you. I really appreciate that. Somebody's asking about my real life experiences. MV Guy, again, that was a terrible pronunciation. I apologize. What are you looking for, particularly about my real life stuff? You know, I did the private pilot thing, or I should say the student pilot thing. I should be more specific. For a little while there, I actually have some time in helicopters, which is a wonderful experience if you've never gotten a chance. I've also done skydiving, which is amazing. But again, I want to do something else on the Cessna 172. I'll have to bring it out. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. I'm guessing that's hugs and kisses. I can't quite tell. Let's say here, looks like a great resource. That's absolutely awesome. Oh, I'm definitely going to check that out. Thanks, Mike. Great resource. That was a World Tour Flights, in case you do not have the active chat there. Again, I hope you think this is. Again, I love countries like this. It's just, we don't see this. But again, good. All right, are there any other questions or comments from the crowd? Oh, Billy Anderson, you are now the 3rd person who's ever given me a super chat. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. I don't have like the fancy ticker because I am literally so low tech you would not even believe. But again, thanks, man. That means a lot, because like I say, I get a little bit from YouTube, I'm not going to lie, because obviously if I didn't monetize, I wouldn't be able to have bought this cool computer that we can now see good video with. But again, I appreciate that so much. I think I'm going to set myself my own goal for 2021. If we hit 15,000 views, I'll fly a real plane, and we'll compare the two next to each other. And we'll decide exactly what that's going to kind of look like. I imagine I'll probably fly my normal region, probably in a Cessna, or maybe like a Diamond or something like that. And maybe we'll put the two next to each other, and like you can see how ridiculously nerdy I am in the real world. Not really, but that's okay. All right, if there are no other comments or questions, I think I'm going to pretty much end this right now. Ryan, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. So now I have to remember everybody's name when I go to poke my post in. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate that. And obviously, happy holidays to everybody. If I've missed that comment like this. Yeah, like I said, if I hit 15,000, I'll do something. I will do an actual flight to plane. I haven't flown in years because it's kind of expensive. But again, I would love to do that and kind of put the two next to each other so y'all can see that. Other than that, have a great night, everyone. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything like that. Have a nice, safe New Year. Let's hope 2021's a little better. We got some good stuff coming out next week, and moving forward, you might see some VATSIM, moving story. We'll definitely go ahead and take a look at some things with twin-engine aircraft. I love that, and you'll probably see more VR as well as stunt stuff. Other than that, I've never been to Oshkosh now. All right, have a great night, everybody. I'll talk to you guys in the chat for a couple minutes, but other than that, I'm going to go ahead and pause right here.